The government is like a baby's alimentary canal, with a happy appetite at one end and no responsibility at the other. Washed up actor, evil man, and one of the best con artists to ever do it, Ronald Reagan. I'm not a big fan of the government, the American one, that is. Paying taxes sucks. Paying taxes and getting no return on investment is like getting robbed and the thief uses what they stole from you to give to Israel. My vision of government has always been that of a benevolent despot. Basically, a mommy state that makes you eat your vegetables whether you want to or not, but loves you dearly and has your best interests in mind. Sadly, we don't have that right now. Instead, we have a fascist diva running the show, just another idiot in a long line of people who worship neoliberal capitalism. Orange Man is bad, obviously. That's not a new or hot take. With America descending into fascism by the day, it is important to remember that no fascist regime ever lasts. Nothing lasts forever. This is all cyclical. History rhymes. What's happening today is not unique. Some believe that fascism should be defined as capitalism in times of crisis. Others believe that the government is run by lizard people and that cave diving is a fun and worthwhile hobby. I would say that the US federal government has always been demons. They allowed slavery, which was pretty bad, didn't get rid of it for almost 100 years, and even now they still keep it as a punishment to this day. The Democrats and Republicans couldn't give less of a shit about the working class. If it seems like they do, that is by total accident. Most of us will never be rich, no matter how much opium we inhale. A lot of us are gonna die working, well into our old age, because we couldn't afford to retire. The American dream for many today is just that, a dream. You have to be asleep to believe it. We live in a kleptocracy, one where the unofficial mythic legend isn't a cowboy, it is a con man. Success in American capitalism boils down to pre-established wealth, charm, and the willingness to step on anyone to get on top of this shit Sunday. This country is a nation of hollow ideals, and they are for sale. I personally believe the role of government is not something that should be bought by the highest bidder. I believe the government should work for the common good of its citizens, take care of us, and push us to do better, even if we don't want to. I'm going to try my best not to define my political ideology with dog whistles or buzzwords. Instead, I'll try to explain what my perfect world looks like, how people live, what they do with their free time, and what resources are available once paywalls are torn down. After all, isn't the purpose of government and politics to create a viable path to utopia? When I was a little kid, I knew my family was poor. It's not like I personally knew any rich people either. All of our neighbors were poor too. I didn't meet a rich person until I was in my late teens. My 5-year-old brain figured out its socioeconomic position just by watching TV shows and movies. I see these fictional people living in big houses with way smaller families than mine, see how they dress, what kind of cars they drove, and this inexplicable sense of ease. A calmness that came from the absence of financial stress, which I had already learned to recognize so clearly from my mom and the other adults around me. My first outburst of this realization came during a trip to the laundromat. I was with my aunt, my mom's sister. She was pregnant with my cousin at the time. It was a real dingy ass laundromat right next to the 210 freeway. I saw a toy dispenser machine, and I remember wanting to test out if my aunt would get one for me. I asked her politely, and she immediately said, "No, I don't have any money." That was enough to send me over the edge. I immediately started crying and wailing in Spanish. ¿Por qué tenemos que ser tan pobres? Why do we have to be so poor? Everyone in the laundromat looked at us, and I embarrassed the shit out of my aunt that day. Her, pregnant as hell, in a grimy ass laundromat, with another child bawling his eyes out over our financial situation. If I were in her shoes, that probably would have ruined my day. I'm grateful my family was able to get themselves out of that position. They sacrificed so much to escape it and give the next generation a better life. They made a Herculean effort through strategic moves and a good amount of luck. Most people don't get that lucky. Most people never leave the laundromat. A lot of people stay suffering. They fall into overwhelming debt, they turn to drugs and alcohol, they starve, go homeless, and some even die. This is the world we've inherited, one where profit margins, earnings per share, and return to office policies are all that matter. People always talk about how many have died because of other ideologies, like communism, but how many have perished before the might of capitalism? How many lives and how much potential have been lost to the system? People who could have done wonders had they not been paywalled to hell. This world is man-made, but it stands to reason it can be unmade all the same. From the ashes of the old world, we could build a better one. The world I dream of is not just a fantasy, it is something we could actually build. I imagine a world where there is enough for everyone, where altruism and love guides us, not profit and greed. A society where no one goes hungry and everyone's basic needs are met. Food, water, healthcare, and shelter. No paywalls, no gatekeepers, just a world open to all. I'm low-key just describing a lot of the European Union. The American government does not care about any of us unless we are sitting in the upper tax brackets. I do not believe things will get better anytime soon. And now with the big beautiful bill just passed, life is about to get a whole lot harder for most Americans. Increased healthcare expenses, rural hospitals shutting down, more taxes for poor people, and that's not even mentioning the new Gestapo, otherwise known as ICE, who are still out here terrorizing immigrant communities. I think we should go back to calling working class people what they really are, poor people. It is more accurate, and honestly, I think it would be a subtle burden to have to call themselves that. Maybe it could even be the push some people need to finally switch up the system. I personally believe that poor people deserve admiration. I once told my mom that even though we struggled with poverty when I was growing up, I was grateful for what it taught me. Her sacrifices and that early exposure to hardship gave me a gift of class consciousness and the understanding of struggle. The fact that people living in poverty can still get up in the morning, laugh, love, and find joy in anything at all, it's a testament to the strength of the human spirit. But no one should have to be that strong just to survive. Nobody deserves to be poor. In a capitalist system, poverty meets the definition of a cruel and unusual punishment. I will admit, capitalism feels pretty sweet when you're on the top. There's only so much room at the peak of the mountain. The sea of change that is bound to happen will come when people finally look past their petty differences. There is no culture war or race war on the horizon, only class. What we have now is not working. As a species, we moved past mere survival long ago. It was our capacity to love and to think that brought us to this point. I think intelligence is overrated as a survival trait. Maybe it is a good thing we are dumb enough to try something new. And when it feels impossible, I try to remember, another world is not only possible, she is on her way. On a quiet day, I can hear her breathing.